Hello, in this video we're going to be taking a look at using the quadratic formula to solve a quadratic equation. Now this is probably the easiest thing we're going to be looking at in this preparing for A-level maths playlist, and the reason for that is, well, one, you'll have all seen this before already in GCSE maths, and also it is really easy. So we're going to start off by looking at what the quadratic formula is, and then we're going to use it to solve a question just so we get some practice. So say we're given some generic quadratic equation, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, okay, like this, where a, b and c are just going to be numbers. And we want to solve this equation, so that just means we want to find the values of x such that if we substitute them into this equation, it's going to equal 0. Now we could factorize it, or we could complete the square like we've looked at previously, or we could use the quadratic formula, okay, and it tells us that the values of x that solve this equation are going to be equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c, all divided by 2 times a, okay? And now we're going to practice using this quadratic formula in a question, which will hopefully make it make a bit more sense. So here we have to solve 3x squared plus 4x minus 12 equals 0. Okay, and so the first thing I'm going to do is identify what the values of a, b and c are that I want to put into my quadratic formula. Well, that's really easy. So my value of a, that's just the coefficient of x squared, so it's 3. My value of b is just the coefficient of x, so it's 4 in this example. And finally c is just my constant, so that's negative 12. So at this point, some of you may have a calculator where you can literally just input a, b and c, or 3, 4 and negative 12 in, and it will instantly give you the correct solutions for x, right? It will do all the work for you. If you don't have a calculator that will do that, I'll work it out manually just to show you how you would do it. So we would get that x is equal to negative b, well b is 4, so negative b is going to be negative 4, plus or minus the square root of b squared, so that's just going to be 16, minus 4 times a, which is 3, times c, which is negative 12. And then we're going to divide all of this by 2 times a, which is 2 times 3, so that's just 6. Let's now simplify this, so we've got negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 16 minus, well, what is 4 times 3 times negative 12? Well, that's just going to be negative 144, right? And so this is where you're going to have to be a bit careful if you want to do it this way. So we've got 16 subtract negative 144, and this is the bit you need to be careful of. So we're subtracting a negative, so that's going to turn into an addition really. So we're going to get that this is equal to negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 16 plus 144, and that's all over 6. And so if I on my calculator look at that, this square root is going to become negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 160, all divided by 6. Now you might leave it like that, but using our knowledge of surds we could actually simplify this a little bit, okay? And so we could rewrite the square root of 160 as 4 root 10, okay? So now we get that this is equal to negative 4 plus or minus 4 root 10, all divided by 6. And again, we could simplify this a little bit more if we wanted. We could divide the numerator and denominator through by 2, and if we do that, we're going to get negative 2 plus or minus 2 root 10 over 3. And those are our two solutions to this quadratic equation. X equals negative 2 plus 2 root 10 over 3, or negative 2 subtract 2 root 10 over 3. Hopefully this video is useful. If it was, like, subscribe and share, and I'll link the Preparing for A-Level Maths playlist in the video description, so if you want to get ahead before you start A-Level Maths, you can start watching that. Thanks for watching.